the bearish signals I'm seeing to become a skeptic. Like, I feel like now it's the time to be a skeptic in this space because the technicals are backing you up at this point, at least from a market cipher perspectives.
What's up, cool kids? FD White. So a lot of people have been requesting that I bring different people on with different perspectives. I need to bring on people who, number one, who I actually like, who I actually listen to, and who I actually think will bring value to the community, to the cool kids community. So of course I had to bring one of my brothers in the space, none other than Nick Cipher. He goes by FG. You may know him from the 100 push-up challenge before we got to 100K. So I didn't participate in that, but you know, a couple of my guys did. So everything was good
Yes,
up until
sir.
100K, and they did all that to 100K. So most of us who are in the space know him for his amazing work, amazing TA, and his market cipher indicator. Him and Crypto Face, if you don't know, they put together this thing called Market Cipher. I'm sure you already heard of it, but this is the one and only Nick Cipher. Goes by Flopping Groper on X. And we got a lot to talk about, man, because you've been posting a lot of things on X, and I know people want an explanation and they want to hear what you're talking about. So let's jump off, man. What's going on, man? I appreciate you for coming on the channel.
No, thank you, FD White. I appreciate you having me on, man, because I'm so like in my hole that it's hard to like make time to make appearances, but that's definitely like a big excuse. So, I mean, it's my job as like a YouTuber to get my name out there and spread the word and stuff. And so this is like the first step for me to like get out there and talk to more people. So I appreciate you giving me like your platform, man. I really appreciate it, man. But
Yeah.
I do have some useful things to share with people. I do have like some impactful things to say because I have kind of a unique like perspective. Like, I'm not just someone who was a bear all the time, you know, the whole way up to 100K. I'm someone who was very like, I had very high conviction that Bitcoin would go to 100K. The Bitcoin to 100K movement was actually like largely like a big part of the market cipher movement because of our music, from Crown Chakra and stuff. And like all last year, all 2024, like teaching the market cipher community to believe in something was like my number one mission, bro. That was like my life's mission, and I honestly wasn't ready for it to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But toward the end of the year, it's like we're tickling the butt cheeks of 100K. And if you guys remember, like on the CME exchanges, we were hitting 100K multiple times in a row and not hitting that on the exchanges. And I was getting a little concerned. I was like, man, am I going to like, is Bitcoin going to go to 99K and then like dump and I'm still stuck doing push-ups? You know what I'm saying? But you know, we did finally hit 100K, and that signaled like this, like a start of like a small alt season. And so I was putting out videos. I put out a video on Link. I was bullish on Link, like it's happening, guys. You know what I mean? And a lot of projects did pop off, did do really good. There was like an alt season there. But in December, we saw like MSTR pull back a bit, which is MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company. And we saw Bitcoin kind of like stall out in like the low, like 100Ks. And it was in like early January where I, like using Market Cipher, our oscillators, was basically able to call out a bearish signal that we hadn't seen since like 2022. So like I'll go over that in this video. Like, why am I so like critical of MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor and a lot of things in the crypto space right now? I've actually used Market Cipher, the bearish signals I'm seeing to become a skeptic. Like, I feel like now it's the time to be a skeptic in this space because the technicals are backing you up at this point, at least from a market cipher perspective. So I'm happy to go over that with you guys today.
First and foremost, you know, we talk about some of the news. We go over news, charts, analysis. What's been in the news lately or just happened yesterday is this big Bybit hack. Not a scam, it was a hack over by North Korea, some big hacker group from North Korea. What do you think about this now? And how do you think, because I just seen somebody you very close to talk about was actually responding to Ben Zhu. I think that's his name, the CEO of Bybit. He was saying that he would trust Ben Zhu with his keys, with his crypto. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this whole, hacker scam? And how do you feel about the security of crypto? Is this something that you're worried about long term?
Well, I think security in crypto is something you should always be worried about all the time, and you shouldn't wait for like big hacks to be worried about it. I mean, we've had influencers in our sphere, like Jason Casper was hacked, I think about a year ago, lost like all of his crypto, and he had to come back. That was like the ultimate comeback story in the market cipher space. I myself lost access to a wallet with like a lot of crypto last year, which I didn't like tell many people about. But like I myself have lost wallets in the past just by being like an idiot. So it's close to home, man. And like, it's tough to get your grandma in on this stuff when security is like so important. And like, it's a bottom up thing. Actually, it's like the little guys got to worry about security. The big dogs got to worry about security. In relation to the Bybit issue in particular, I don't really think like I kind of think that Bybit should have been ready for this. Like I think that a lot of people are congratulating like the way they handled it, which they did handle it really well. Could have gone worse, right? But that's like a lot of the people backing them up are also on their affiliate payroll. Like they basically trade for free using the affiliate commissions that they get from referring people to Bybit. So be careful of the conflict of interest on Twitter. A lot of these people backing up Bybit are actually on their payroll. So I would say that it was a little strange that we literally, I mean, I could show you guys in the chart real quick. Let me go to my chart here. We're going to go to the actual point where the dump occurred. This is what's fishy to me, guys, is like as soon as Bitcoin was reaching, see this teal line right here, FD?
Yeah.
On my chart. So this is the year-to-date VWAP here. This is a really critical dynamic support here. This is a volume-weighted average price placed on January 1. This is our year-to-date VWAP. And look how clean that interaction was. So as soon as price goes to the year-to-date VWAP, those North Korean hackers decide to hack Bybit. Like, I mean, I get that it wasn't. I don't think Bybit hacked themselves. I don't think it was like an inside job at this point. But isn't it funny though how like these events always seem to occur at a perfect technical analysis level. So
exactly,
there's a little bit of fishiness to it. It even dumps right back down to the VWAP from election day. And it's funny. So like, playing this, my short entry was actually a little bit higher at the inauguration day VWAP because this pink line here, like I caught this short right here and I was able to make a lot of profit on that trade. So I was thinking, man, we're going to get a repeat of the inauguration day VWAP short. And so I was like really ready with my short hats on for price to come up just a little bit higher. And then I got rug pulled. and I was too bearish at the lows down here to like long here as well. It looks like it's actually might be rolling over. It's like struggling over the underneath the monthly VWAP right now, the February VWAP. But we'll see if it can come up over that, reclaim that February VWAP. As of right now, it's kind of in the doldrums right now. So that's kind of where I'm at with the hack. The timing of it was a little fishy. I think they could have done better with their security ahead of time because hindsight 2020 and all that. Watch out for the conflict of interest. Everyone like riding their jock and stuff saying, good job, Ben, good job. Exchanges take a lot of people's money out of the space. So I'm sorry for their loss. They take a lot of money from other people too. So I'm actually kind of glad they take hits. We take hits. Everyone takes a hit. And the tax man comes for us all in this space, man.
Exactly, man. That's the one thing about crypto, man. It does not care who you are, how big you are, how long you've been in the space, man. If you slip up, they're coming to get you, man. They're coming to get you. And you made some amazing points, man. And that goes into my my next part that I want to talk about since you had some charts up. What are you seeing short term? Because we do have some what I'm looking at. I've been looking at like strictly price action. I've been seeing some sort of a range between like 106 and like the bottom side range coming in at around 90, probably about 91 to 93K. I know you're a big VWAP guy, and the VWAP has been amazing this bull run from what I've been seeing. What are you seeing short to mid term? I already know how you stand. We already know how you stand and where you stand long term. What are you seeing short to mid term? Because everybody's saying win alt season, but I know, we can't get an alt season until we start breaking out for Bitcoin. So what are you seeing?
Well, to start off with something positive, like alts obviously have struggled massively, and yet Bitcoin has held surprisingly well. Like we did just get this big hack, and so far the price of Bitcoin has held indeed quite well. And it's because of this election day VWAP here, this silver line here. I feel like the dump from the new February monthly VWAP on February 1st, like we collapsed down, crashed, lost the year to date VWAP there, had a big spike down. But look at the buyers that come in at this election day VWAP. And so it's almost like it's interrupting the natural flow of the market, because like last year, it's hard to explain this because but basically last year this would have gone down to like the previous quarterly VWAP in my opinion. But since like we're in kind of like this kind of special point in the market where we're like being influenced by like Trump's presidency like very highly, it seems like we're really trying to hold like this level here, and it's a dynamic level that's rising over time. So it was back at like the low 90s, but now the silver line, the Trump VWAP, is smack dab at 95K psychological resistance or psychological support. And so that's a strong support, but you guys got to remember that the inauguration day VWAP, the pink line here from inauguration, is also a strong resistance. And so this is quite a tight range. I would say now the range is between 95K and 100K. And that's pretty much what it's been doing since like pretty much all this month. So the range has been around like 95 to 100K all month. Very unusual price action for a monthly VWAP. Like it's not very common that you see the price clinging to a monthly VWAP this closely for so long in the month. And so that's why people were saying that for them, like February feels like it's been like a year. You know what I mean? Like this is like the month of the trenches, man. We're literally in the trenches here.
Yeah.
But in terms of like short and medium term, I would actually lean bearish, because yes, we're talking about a short or medium term idea, but like you still have to like apply a longer term bias, right? So like on the monthly here, you see Market Cipher's waves are very reminiscent of the last cycle top here. You see, you get this double-headed monthly wave over the 60 line on Market Cipher, one red dot, two red dot, lose the 60 line. And then look at the pullback here. This is no joke of a pullback. Last cycle, we were down 50% by the time you crossed that 60 line. And so if that happened here, 25% from the high, you're down here at like 80K. And if you go down 50% from the high, oh my gosh, it's like, dang, we're back down we're back down there. We're underneath last year's year to date. So I'm a little shocked that Bitcoin is holding so well. Maybe that's a good sign that Bitcoin is like institutional. There has institutional strength now, but there's no guarantee of that. We just haven't seen the wave fully play out yet. So it could happen. We could be having some institutional strength holding Bitcoin up, but we don't know that. It's like, it's risky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
I would say that the monthly waves are quite bearish. Like look at the weekly here, lost the 60 line, kind of aiming down. Money flow, a little bit divergent here because price went up higher, but the money flow is not much stronger here on the weekly. And then like on the daily time frame, now we did see a really nice deep wave here, but did it really play out as good as like other waves like this that we would expect like have played out in the past? Not really. It's been kind of like a painful daily buy signal here. And look at the money flow on that daily time frame. See, it's a nice big healthy rounded wave that's kind of aiming down there, So I know that you're talking about medium term moves, but the larger term bias for me is quite doom and gloom, And that's not me, man. I'm a happy-go-lucky, happy person. I want everything to work out.
Yeah.
I've been like the Undertaker on Twitter for like the last like 2 months now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
So
I would say that we're struggling around the monthly VWAP. Look, see, the price is kind of hanging more to the downside than it is to the upside, right?
yeah.
And so I've been waiting kind of for that election day VWAP to get punctured and get defeated. But every time it comes down to it, it's like, are you going to short that? It's like you don't want to short support. So it's in a tricky situation. If we lost 95K, I would feel a lot more comfortable hopping into shorts down to like 89K. You know what I'm saying? But for the time being, you kind of just got to play the range, right?
Exactly, and that goes with my next question. You kind of hit the nail on the head. With these institutions, it's been hard to trade. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been a little bit harder for me to trade. I've been taking a lot of like shorter term trades. I haven't really gotten any of my longer term trades besides the ones that I've been in since the bear market. Right now with the institutions coming in and things like that, do you think the floor is higher now because the institutions, we got Michael Saylor, we got Donald Trump, the greatest pro crypto administration of all time in any country coming in, all these new regulations supposed to be coming in? Do you think this is kind of holding Bitcoin up or the floor, even if we do go into a so-called bear market, which I don't even know what defines a bear market? We know 20% defines bear markets in equities. We don't know like what's a bear market in crypto. Like we get these ebbs and flows like
That's
very
a good
frequently.
question, man. What is a bear market in crypto? I kind of have my own way of measuring it with Market Cipher here, and like we go back to that monthly time frame, and like when the monthly oscillator, we want that high momentum, right? We want momentum over the 60 line because that is usually like the juiciest parts of the run. So like for instance, you could see back here, as soon as like these waves, the momentum waves cross up above the 60 line there on Market Cipher B, you see how that was like only the start to like the juiciest part of the bull run here.
Yeah.
And like it only really stops and like once we cross below the 60 line and we lose that runaway train, Elon Musk rocket ship, like breaking the stratosphere levels of momentum. And so it's like, this is kind of the best you can do to call a bull run, right? It's like when the momentum's above the 60 line, it's all systems go. When it's below the 60 line, you're probably entering a bear market. So like here to here, bull market. Here to here, it's like from here to right there. You can see this does a pretty good job of like letting you know when you're at like the juiciest part of the run, and it kind of lets you know like when the train's cooling off, right?
Yeah.
And so we're basically here. So this was, this is. And there's diminishing returns in Bitcoin. This is kind of like supporting that theory. Not only that, like look at these waves are getting kind of smaller over time. Like this over here definitely was a super cycle. It's like, look at that wave. That's a crazy ass wave there. That was like absolutely out of control. Whereas the next one was a little more manageable. And this one that we're currently seeing is like the most manageable, most institutionalized, normal,
Yeah.
two-headed, average ass looking monthly wave we've ever seen. And so I would say that, while currently it looks as though there's institutional strength, almost like there's this floor at like 95K and we're never going to go below it, that could change very quickly. And these waves take a long time to play out. And what's more likely to happen is that we see institutional dumping. And like the dumps stay the same in crypto, but the gains get less. With Bitcoin, and that's why people flocked to altcoins, right?
Yeah.
That's why people got into meme coins in the first place, is because a lot of people suspected that this was going to happen with Bitcoin, where the gains get less, but the dumps remain the same. Actually, I know people look down on Richard Hart, but he said this about Bitcoin as well. It's like the dumps stay the same, the pumps get less, and so when you invite institutions to dance, they have people's bottom lines. Like BlackRock has clients, right? And so, like they're looking after people's funds. And so when it's time to sell, like they will sell. Not everyone is like Michael Saylor, where it's like they believe that now is the time of mass adoption. It's like it's actually advantageous to potentially short that idea that right now, this point in history is mass adoption. Like that's a dangerous. Like you're asking for this to happen in such a small window. It's like, shouldn't you give it like a 5 to 10 year window for mass adoption to happen? So that's the risky game that Michael Saylor is playing. by like buying at what could be a top. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's top blasting and he's buying Bitcoin every week when the monthly waves look like this. And it's like, dang, I wish like Michael Saylor would reply to one of like to anybody's tweets. He's so in his own head, in his own idealism, that he's not going to look at any empirical evidence like contradicting his vision. He's a pure idealist, he's the kind of intellectual that like modern philosophers like Thomas Sowell like teach you to be worried about, right? Because like he's pure, like he cares more about ideas than outcomes. You know what I mean? So we could get into that Michael Saylor thing, but that's where I'm at, man, with that stuff. So
yeah, that's actually a good point. A segue into my next point that I wanted to talk to you about is these altcoins, man. So altcoin season. We've seen a bunch of influencers, a bunch of KOLs calling for altcoin season for the past like 4 months, like 3-4 months. November, we did get it, but everything went up from like November 5th, after the election to like December, mid-December. Then we all thought, myself included, because I'm a history buff, I'm saying, okay, every after cycle or after halving year, we start to get Ethereum pumping, we start to get altcoins ripping those first couple months, that first quarter after the halving year. Hasn't happened like that. This cycle has been completely different, sort of the same, but a lot different than a lot of these past cycles. We hit an all-time high before the halving. We've had we had meme coins run first. People forget that. Before Bitcoin started to run, we had the meme coin craze. It was all on TikTok, all this other stuff. And then we got Bitcoin starting to move again. So what do you think about an altcoin season? Because right now you're telling me that Bitcoin is looking a little bit toppy. So do you think altcoin season is canceled? I'm going to just put you right on the spot.
Well, it's not my opinion. I always try to I don't just want to say some shit and freak everyone out, scare everyone out. And I don't want alt season to be canceled. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like this grim reaper, wanting all you guys to lose all your money and all this stuff. All I can tell you is like, I pulled up, the others chart on the monthly here. And so look at market Cipher. I mean, we had big blobs of money pouring in back in like 2017. We had a slightly lower blob last cycle. And now it just looks like not as much momentum is going into the others chart here. Like, look, it's it's actually a bear div here. See how price went up FD and the waves kind of trended down here on the monthly. So if this red dot holds, it's just not like a bullish looking chart on the monthly chart. Dominance on that is also looking a little bit bearish. So I would say just like, let the data guide you. That's because that's what I do. And a lot of things in this cycle were front ran, like we had a new all-time high on Bitcoin before the halving. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then also like if in hindsight we find out that this was a top in Bitcoin, it'll be interesting that the top came sooner than a lot of people anticipated. So it's almost like a lot of things were pushed like earlier because a lot of people knew that these things would happen, and so they get like front ran and anticipated because the market participants are getting smarter over time. Not only is the average investor like you and me getting wiser, but also the big players are getting wiser, and there's bots and AI, and like it's just a whole new game, man. Like by the time the little guy gets in, it's like the party has already happened. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so you're just segueing all my points. We haven't talked before this. We haven't even concurred together.
We didn't. Yeah,
so
we didn't.
Everything
we're not in cahoosters on anything, man.
Everything that you're saying is what I want to talk about. So I do want to talk about that. This market, because I came in 2020, beginning of mid 2020, I came in DeFi summer. So I've seen the easy gains coming into 2021. Mostly all of 2021, besides, sell that may go away. 2022, 2023 came around, we started to get more easier gains, but then it started to slow down. A lot of these things started to slow down. We do have outliers, but this cycle is getting a lot harder. Just like you said, the average investor is getting smarter. The institutions are getting smarter. The volatility in Bitcoin is lessening. So this is why a lot of people are running to meme coins. So with this cycle being a lot harder, and meme coins kind of like ruining the show or running the show? I don't know how you want to tell me. What do you think is happening in the cycle? What do you think is happening if you can integrate meme coins into your answer? What do you think is going on right now? I know you said it's getting a lot harder. Do you think meme coins are making it harder? What besides everybody getting smarter is making this cycle a lot harder to make massive gains? Because you can always make gains in crypto. It's easier than any other market, but it's definitely getting harder. What do you think is the reason?
Well, my take on the meme coins, let's take one figure in particular, like that guy Murad, who had like the PowerPoint. He goes up on stage and he's got a PowerPoint, and he basically said, all cryptos are vaporware, and we just want the number to go up. We don't care that Cardano is doing this and that or whatever. We don't care that Chainlink is doing this and that, and it's key to pivotal to this thing. We don't care about all that. We just want the number to go up. And so like he was like, meme coins are the future because that's like the meat and potatoes of what people really want. And the problem with that is like, if you don't believe in crypto, then what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
If you don't believe that there's any gains in Bitcoin long term, if you don't believe in utility, then it's like you actually are just a tourist in the space, right? And so there's a lot of tourists. It's like people come to crypto to make a quick buck and to gamble because that's the consensus of society, is that crypto is basically a big casino, right? I think meme coins, like there's no utility or real life value there other than making a couple people who buy them rich. And so it's kind of extractionary, and like it only goes on for so long before people get burnt out on it. And I think that we've seen it ramp up pretty much to the limit. We saw like a president drop a quote meme coin. Although at this point, by the time a president drops a meme coin, that's so establishment that you can't call it a meme anymore. Like a meme used to be like the little guy criticizing the establishment with funny pictures, and everyone gets a laugh because finally like someone is saying the truth that you're not allowed to say out loud. That's what a meme used to be. Now a meme is like a giant scam rug pull from like the highest office in the land. It's like, that's not a meme anymore. That's not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. I never even thought about it like that. That's a very good point. I never thought about that. And like you said, like he kind of opened Pandora's box with that Trump coin. And we see all type of people. I think Kanye is even dropping. He's talking about dropping his own blockchain. Not just a meme coin. He's talking about dropping a whole blockchain. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know what's going to happen with regulation. A lot of these people, a lot of things that's going on do seem illegal. If this was happening in equities, like thousands of people would be locked up right now. But crypto is the wild, wild west, and it sort of is like a casino. And I was telling my people that right now in the world, especially, I don't know about the world, but I know in the United States, the gamble culture is very high. So like you said, meme coins are just another way to gamble. We see sports betting very high. We see lottery tickets, lottery numbers getting to all-time highs. Week after week, we see mega millions of up over $1 billion. So the whole gamble culture in the world, or in America specifically, is very high. And meme coins are just, another way for people to gamble, so to say. So we'll have to see. Like it's definitely been a lot harder. I did make a lot of money on PopCat. I will say that. We was telling the community to get in PopCat early last year at around 15 cents. We ran that all the way up to about $1.50. So I can't really be a hypocrite and say don't buy meme coins, but some of these meme coins you have to like know that they're going to be like rug pulls and things like that. So that's just one of the things that I like to say. Back to Michael Saylor though, because you have some very interesting takes. What do you think about his strategy? He changed the name of his company. So I'm gonna give you the floor and let you just run with it and let me know what you think about this.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me just say that back when Bitcoin was at like 45K and I was just starting my like push-up challenge, I looked up to Michael Saylor. Like I was like, dang, this is the type of Bitcoin evangelism that I kind of like aspire to be. Because at that point where I was at with the charts and everything is that like I really believed that Bitcoin was going to go to 100K. And so the things he was saying, I felt like were beneficial for society to hear. And I was not aware of his dilution of his stock and like a lot of the shady things that he's doing around MicroStrategy. And so I have turned on Michael Saylor in recent months. And so, we look at MicroStrategy here and just comparing it to Bitcoin, like notice how MicroStrategy has come down like 45% from its high, despite like we said, we just talked about how Bitcoin is holding extremely well, right? How come MicroStrategy is like 45% down from the high? And look, it's showing weakness under its 2025 year-to-date VWAP. See that purple line there? So we kind of came up over it, but that was like a little divergent little anomaly. And then we slammed back down under that year-to-date. And it almost seems like look at this short trade that I have on MicroStrategy. This is like basically I'm shorting it from the current year-to-date VWAP down to 2024's year-to-date VWAP. So I have a strong inclination that MicroStrategy might trade at like $208 in the coming weeks. If you look at MicroStrategy on the monthly here, I mean, look at that wave, FD. It's like it's not the time to be telling people to invest in Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy asset, And just to give you like your audience like a little bit of tidbits or whatever, like just recently earnings reports came out for MicroStrategy and we found out that he is minus 670 million. So like his actual software company that's underneath the Bitcoin treasury, like the foundation of what MicroStrategy is a failing software company. Now, if Market Cipher, we post profits every year. I mean, we're not publicly traded, but we make money every year. But if we were losing millions of dollars a year, it's like, what are they doing wrong? They're hiring too many people. They need to fix their software. Like they need to change something so that like Market Cipher is profitable. But instead of like doing that, instead of Michael Saylor saying, here's how we're going to make MicroStrategy a profitable company, all he did was rebrand to Strategy. If you notice, he basically just rebranded from MicroStrategy to Strategy, put out some turtleneck sweaters with Strategy logo on it. And it screamed organizing the deck chairs on the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? Because you look at the monthly chart, it's like oof, and it's like Home Alone. It's like Buzz, your girlfriend. Woof. You know what I'm saying? It's like, geez, man, this monthly wave ain't pretty, man. And just the fact that he's like top blasting and his average entry is now almost like $70,000, which was worse than mine, bro. My average entry was like 40,000. So I'm just a flopping groper, and his average entry is worse than mine.
Yeah.
Not that he has a liquidation price, it's not like he's like leveraged on an exchange, but he is over leveraged in that he dilutes his shares. He also dumps his shares. So yes, he doesn't sell the Bitcoin, but he's selling his shares and dumping on you, the investor, to enrich himself. So he's a multimillionaire because he's sold MicroStrategy shares. And you can just, with a quick Google search, like, does Michael Saylor dilute his shares? And he's one of the worst diluters in the entire stock market. So he's committed some grievous TradFi sins with his company. And I have some graphics here from this guy named Jacob King. He's like a well-known bear on Twitter. Now, I will say that this King character on Twitter has been bearish for a while, not as longer than I have. So I've been bearish recently. The guy who made these graphics has been bearish since like November, December. And this guy got pumped on. Like he didn't think the 100K pump was going to happen. And so think what you will about that. But I don't think it really lessens like the gravity of these graphics. I think he did a good job explaining MicroStrategy's like loop, like he called it a reflexive flywheel effect. And basically MSTR issues debt, Bitcoin increases, MSTR market cap increases. And you can just see like basically it's this repeating loop that relies on Bitcoin going up and up and up. And hopefully like Michael Saylor's hoping to basically just push it up to a point where it like can rocket ship up from institutions and nations buying. That's, you see him going around trying to convince the United States to like buy like trillions of Bitcoin or some shit like that, because that's like basically the only way his ass is going to be saved. So out of pure survival, Michael Saylor is like pitching Bitcoin to the US government. Here's another way to put it here. Issue debt, buy Bitcoin, market cap increases, attract retail investors, issue more equity, loop repeats. And so you can see that like as long as Bitcoin keeps going up and more people, more countries, more institutions keep getting in, his system works. But the second it pauses or goes down, the system starts failing. And so that pausing part is really important, because what we've seen is Bitcoin paused for just a couple months. And look what MicroStrategy did. It pulled back like 50%, right? And so this stock really depends on that reflexive loop, hyper loop, basically, like to keep going. And it really depends on mass adoption happening right now, which, judging by these monthly waves, it actually seems more likely that like the next presidential election cycle is mass adoption. So that's where I'm at with Bitcoin. I think it might actually be next presidential cycle that mass adoption occurs, just based on like market ciphers waves. But I mean, and I don't want to cause any panic or fear or nothing. I don't want to shake anyone's long-term resolve and say like, oh, Bitcoin's dead or whatever. I just like, here's empirical evidence, right? Here's an oscillator that's like super overbought on the monthly. And that caused me to be more of a skeptic. That's all I'm saying.
So I want to play devil's advocate here. I got two things. Number one, Michael Saylor is, of course, he doesn't really care about the short-term oscillations, the short-term moves. Do you think that a supply shock in Bitcoin would cause people to come to Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy in order to get Bitcoin? Is he trying to become the bank, so to say, for Bitcoin? Is that a strategy that you think he's implementing, or you think he's just trying to do that, the Ponzi thing that you're saying or that you just showed? Because that's what I would be doing. I know that Bitcoin has a finite supply. I know that Bitcoin is, everybody's starting to buy it up. And as mass adoption, comes along, less and less Bitcoin is going to be available. So if I got the opportunity to grab as much Bitcoin as I can, when that supply shock does really hit, I'll be the bank. Now you have to come to me to get Bitcoin at a premium. Do you think this is something that he's thinking about?
He probably is thinking about that. I mean, obviously his number one concern is like owning the most Bitcoin. He's like the Ash Ketchum of Bitcoin. Like, I want to be the very best. I want to catch them all. He's trying to catch them all, any means necessary. When it comes to supply shock, what if like the problem with that supply shock narrative is like, what if there is a demand shock? What if there is a big dump of Bitcoin on exchanges and then that lowers the price? It's like Bitcoin is an easily manipulatable asset. It's a small asset class. And like you could easily, like hostile actors could easily bring Bitcoin down. Like I hate to say this, but if you bring institutions into dance, they can pump it up artificially. They can dump it artificially. They can kind of do whatever they want with it. We see that with gold. And so the whole supply shock thing, there is an element of truth to that. There's a record low number of crypto on exchanges. But if that number ever increased, it's like, then you got a lot of people selling Bitcoin into exchanges and you have a lot of selling. So when it comes to Michael Saylor, like trying to be the Bitcoin bank of the world or something, like I don't think it's good for Bitcoin long-term health for singular individuals to have this much control over the network. I think Bitcoin, Michael Saylor needs Bitcoin more than Bitcoin needs Michael Saylor, if that makes sense. Like, I think that we would actually be better off as a movement with him out of the picture and just institutions and nation states taking the helm on mass adoption and the little guy. I don't think we need like TradFi scammers and people like concocting these big money loop schemes like to get where we need to go. Even if it takes like a couple extra years for that to happen, I think that we're actually it's a much better timeline to squeeze Michael Saylor like the blueberry girl from Willy Wonka. Like, she got too greedy and the Oompa Loompas had to roll her off and squeeze her for juice. Man, remember that scene, bro?
Oh yeah.
So,
like classic scene.
So and I have this like goofy idea of like, if they were to like shake Michael Saylor upside down and knock the Mario coins out of him, like like that could be our Bitcoin reserve. You get all his Bitcoin for free. The US government, Uncle Sam, is the biggest shyster in the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're not going to out scam Uncle Sam, So man, if I was the government, that would be my evil master plan, is I would come in at the top. I would be a hostile actor, which Trump has been. You know, it's like you kind of see the signs of the hostile acting running afoot or whatever. And like, it would just be hilarious if that's how things happened. That is the most hilarious or tragic, however way you want to put it. The most tragic scenario often does happen in markets. So
Yeah.
I don't know how else you would stop Michael Saylor, because I mean, basically lawyers would have to jump in and stop. Like, he needs to be stopped. Because if Bitcoin were to crash and his shareholders, like if MSTR crashed, he wouldn't like sell his Bitcoin. Like, you would need to come after him with lawfare. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of he doesn't have like a liquidation price. He's just going to have all this Bitcoin and his stock will have gone to shit. And so his reputation will take a hit. Maybe there's a large enough movement to get lawfare involved in that regard and like get some regulation involved in the way that he performs his operations. And I'm just not an expert on this stuff. So it's like, I'm only having these ideas because it's backed by some of our indicators, empirical evidence that we've gotten that we could be at a top. And so it's forced me to rewire my brain and become a Michael Saylor skeptic. But in the coming years, we may see that he does get into like some hot water. I mean, even a modest pullback down to 70K would probably crash his stock, because at that point, what does Michael Saylor have? Bitcoin is a performance-driven asset. People like it more when it's higher, and they dislike it when it's lower. And so if Bitcoin is now beneath his average entry, all he has going for him is the failed software company underneath, and it's really not worth anything. So it's something to be really concerned about. Now, it all could play out fine. But Bitcoin could pump up to 150K or 200K. MicroStrategy goes to the moon. Countries start buying in, aping in huge amounts, and we get Bitcoin mass adoption like in the next year or something. But I just think people got to know the risks. You know, this is like the idea of someone who wants to short these ideas would be thinking. And like, this is just something that I like to talk about. And as long as I back it up with evidence, like with the charts, I hope you guys don't like look down on me too hard for being too negative, too gloomy and stuff. I just think it's an important perspective to take into account.
You know what? And this is one of the number one reasons why I wanted to bring you on the channel, because 99, I wouldn't say 99, I'll say 90, maybe 95% of all people who make videos, we'll call them influencers, content creators, are just always mega bullish. You just get more views, you get more engagement when you're just always a mega bull. So me personally, we call ourselves the cool kids. We don't call us cool kids because we walk around with sunglasses. We're always cool. If the price is going up, if the price is going down, we always stay cool. We always keep a even kill, kind of stay unemotional. We'll try to. Of course, we're going to get emotional. We're human, but we try to just keep it cool and try to take different perspectives in and different people's analysis and opinions in, and try to formulate our own. So that's one reason why I want to bring you on, because you bring a lot of people say something, but they don't back it up. You come with your, with the charts, market Cipher, which has not really deterred anybody wrong ever since I've been, rocking with it since 2020, 2021. And you guys make a lot of money. So that's what people want to see. They want to see people with opinions who make money. They don't care about the people with opinions who don't make money. They want to see people who with opinions who have a working product and who are, doing well from what they're preaching. So that's definitely something that needs to be had. A difference of opinions, a different approach, and different things coming out like that. So I do want to kind of end it with altcoins. We talked about altcoin season a little bit, but I want to end it with, what are some of the altcoins, if you had to build a portfolio from scratch today? Let's say you had 10K. You wanted to build a portfolio. I know you probably want to put Bitcoin in there. We're not even going to say Bitcoin. What are some of the coins, not financial advice, that you would be looking at, that you would want to buy, that you would want to hodl or accumulate, just in case we do get some sort of a run up? Because there has been some coins that have been looking fairly strong against Bitcoin and have been, standing the short test of times over these past few months. What are some of the ones that you'll be looking at?
That's a good question, man. I think a lot of coins where they're at right now is like, you know, they've come down quite a bit. Like, for instance, look at Solana here. Solana performed a move that I call a yearly leapfrog. This is where we get a new year to date, which is the purple line here. This is the 2025 January 1st year to date VWAP. And you see how we dumped from that VWAP all the way to last year's year to date VWAP. And so Solana had a yearly leapfrog. Now, it's very rare. Now it is bearish to fall under 2 yearly VWAPs at the same time. That's 2 years of volume weighted average price resistance overhead. And it's a first sign inclination of a bear market. But oftentimes you do get some play in this range. And so I had this idea that Solana might like be dead cat bouncing back up to that 2025 year to date VWAP before any kind of like extended move down. So like, I think that Solana perhaps could be bullish for a little bit. In fact, a lot of coins, like for instance, Pepe, for instance, also is like now below last year's year to date. And so I think a lot of coins, there may be like a push up to this year's year to date back again. Like you may see Pepe, you know, come up as much as 40, 50% before slamming into the current year's year to date as resistance and then continuing back down. But like personally, I am like tethered up massively because I think that this bear market is like coming soon for Bitcoin. Like I sold all my Bitcoin, all my Link, all my ETH, all that shit on like January 12th or something, before Trump coin, before the airplanes were falling out of the air, before all this shit. Like there was a lot of things that like the bearishness of market Cipher was like predicting, strangely enough, like around that time. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to trade it, you know? So like right now I am a trader. If like the 5-day SMA starts scooping up, Bitcoin sees a little bit of like a push going into the end of February or like start of March, then like a lot of these coins will have what I call like it'll be like a dead cat bounce, right? It'll be like a bear market rally up back to like the current year's year to date, perhaps before falling back down below, losing both years year to dates, and then entering a true like little bear market for a little bit. And that's not a scary thing. That basically means like once you're in the bear market, that's when you want to start clicking on that DCA, like the DCA, and start buying into it slowly, right? Because now the prices are cheap. Now the prices are discounted underneath 2 years year to date VWAPs. You no longer have to worry about purchasing your favorite altcoin at a way overpriced valuation, like way over the like, you know, all time. You don't have to top blast anymore. Bear markets are actually chill. Like if Solana somehow lost both its year to dates and started cooling off a bit, you know, it gets cheaper for the average person. It's like it's an investment opportunity. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so you're supposed to sell when the technicals are like, and you don't even want to wait for that red dot either. Like on the monthly here, for instance, on Solana, like I said, I was bearish on like January 12th. And so like I was bearish like up here at the highs, and I dumped my cryptos before any kind of red dot. See this red dot came through on Solana FD, and look what happened, man. It was a big 30% crash. And so you don't want to wait for like these signals to confirm. Unfortunately, you have to front run consensus, and you have to say, you know what, we're overbought, we're divergent. You know, it's a new year, it's a new yearly period, so it's a new chance for the other side to take the reins for a while. And so I had to make that tough judgment call, and I felt like it was worth sharing with people. So I was vocal about selling in January, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to like long dips and like, you know, like whatever coins that may be bullish. Like I hope I can hop in on, but I'm gonna just go with the flow for now, man. I'm gonna enjoy. Bear markets are cool because you're reminded that you are a trader first. You're not just an acolyte in some other man's vision. You know what I'm saying? Like when Bitcoin was on its way up, you know, I was like kind of like looking up to Michael Saylor. I was like a character in his story, you know. Whereas Bitcoin on the way down, you know, it's just me. You know, no one comes to save you in a bear market. It's like you. It's like how good you are at catching the ways up and short on the way down, and accumulating, dollar cost averaging the most promising projects and setting yourself up for the next leg up. You know what I'm saying? So It's not a reason to stop caring about your health, stop caring about the markets. it's actually a time to lock in and start looking at what could be bottomed. You know what I'm saying? Like what could be a good buy, and just kind of go with the flow, man. You know what I'm saying? Like screw the narratives, just go off the empirical evidence and like, you know, stop having your own opinion. Just kind of like let your strategy guide you to success. And that's worked for Market Cipher in the past. You know, that there was a past version of me 4 years ago who sold almost the top on Bitcoin back in 2022 when he saw those bearish monthly waves. And so what would the current me be if I didn't like do at least the same thing I did back here? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would be less of a I would be a less smart investor if I didn't kind of do the same thing here that I did here. And that's just the way I see it in my head. So it's like, you know, even if it goes up a little bit, I dodged a massive risk. You know, even if Bitcoin does form a new all-time high, I feel like I dodged a massive, massive downside risk potential by selling when I did. So that's pretty much where I'm at with that, man.
Yeah, and you made an amazing point, Nick. You said some of these coins they may be down a lot, but they may get dead cat bounces. Even if we don't reclaim some of these, or even if we don't touch some of these all-time highs, these past all-time highs or past cycle highs, dead cat bounces can be very, very profitable.
Huge,
So that's one
absolutely
of the
huge, FD. I'm talking 50 to 70% pumps on some of these shit coins. I mean, if it's looking good, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still in a bear market, you still have life-changing swings up and down. And it's just the momentum has shifted to the downside and you have to adapt. And long only strategies, we've had almost 3 years of up only strategies being victorious. And any strategy that favors one direction and isn't malleable and able to bend with the flow is going to go extinct, just like the dinosaurs did. It's a janky strategy that relies on one outcome, like the price has to go up for you to be profitable. Like that's not a real strategy. That's you're leeching off the bull run until the party ends. The trend is your friend, and the trend is your friend until the end, basically, with that kind of strategy, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's one I actually made a video probably maybe a week ago or a little less than a week ago called the reclaim strategy. And what we're doing right now, we're sitting on our hands. And once we start to reclaim, I mean, we're down some of these coins 50, 60, 70, some 80%. And I don't know for a fact because you know we can't predict the future, but I know if the market starts to reverse, if Bitcoin starts to get a nice push, you know, 120, 130, 140, these coins, like I said, they might not reach their cycle highs or all-time highs, but the bounces are going to get very violent. So once we start to reclaim some of these key support resistance levels, some you know, VWAPs, and I have a moving average that I like. Once we start to reclaim some of these, then that's when, you know, that'll be the signal to get long. And you said it best. You said let the chart tell you what to do, as opposed to going with the consensus or off emotion. Let the chart tell you what it's doing. Let the chart guide you. Let the chart be your North Star. And, you know, a lot of times you can't go wrong with that, man. So that's definitely some good knowledge that you dropped.
Yeah, man. You know, just as some small examples, and, you know, this is no promises. This is not a signal. I'm not dropping any signals or nothing. But like, just look at some of these shit coins here. Like if Brett were to simply just pull back up to the year-to-date VWAP, that's a 50% pump. If Moodang, this silly little like hippo coin, were to just like, it's still bearish, it's still going to zero or whatever, but what if it just pulled back up to its year-to-date 88% pump? And so, you know, to keep an eye on the moves and play the moves, but overall, you know, going by Bitcoin's technicals, the technicals are saying Bitcoin's like, you know, getting kind of tired, that the movement itself getting a little tired. People are starting to analyze the Bitcoin movement with a magnifying lens, and they're finding that there's issues with it, man. We really do have issues, you know, with this crypto movement. That I mean, we could honestly use like a really nice pullback / bear market to kind of reset things and get our morality back in check. I feel like I mean, I hate even bringing this up, man, but like some poor kid just committed suicide like the other day on Twitter because like that's where we're at in the cycle, man. And like, I don't know if you guys agree, but like this year is a lot more stressful to be a crypto person in this crypto industry than last year was. Like last year was like hopeful, and it felt like justified. Everything felt good and justified, and like I really loved the work I was doing. Whereas this year is like, it's just tough, man. The sentiment is hard to deal with. It's tough to deal with so many bad things happening, and then everyone just wants the price to go higher. You know, it's like as someone who's like kind of spiritually in tune, and like I love people, man. I love the earth. I love the world. I love everyone in it, and it's, you know, I kind of hate to see what we've become, FD. Not gonna lie, man. I hope we go back to our roots and like remember what makes crypto great, and I hope we can come back stronger, man, and make crypto great again.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I feel the same way. I actually made a video saying I'm tired. I'm sick of it. Talking about the space, talking about the industry, man. And it's been tough, man. It's been a tough year, like you said, not only in crypto, but you know, just in the world, man. It's just weird times, man. Weird times, critical times, hard to deal with, man.
Crime season, man. It's crime season.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
that can be a top signal if there's technicals backing it up. If you have extractors, tourists, and hostile actors coming in, you know, it's like, you know, Kanye West isn't going to be interested in crypto at bear market lows. You know, the Trumps aren't going to be touching it at bear market lows. You know that all the celebrities don't touch crypto when it's in a bear market. They come in at the highs when it's hypey and when it's profitable for them to do so. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we got the hostile actors, we got the technicals, we got a lot of signs pointing towards things ain't looking so hot on the big time frames. Just don't let that like blind you from the medium term ebbs and flows of the market.
Yeah, definitely, man. So we can end it right there, man. I think that was we got a lot extracted out of you, man. I don't want to take too much of your Saturday night out.
Man, I'm a professional yapper, bro. I could yap on my streams for like, I could yap for hours, bro. But thanks for getting me out of my hole, FD. Much love to you, man. God bless you.
And, like I told you, like I told you, man, you guys are some of my favorite people in the space, man. So anytime I can collab with you guys, man, it's an honor and a privilege. And you guys are big in the space, and you don't know how many lives you changed in the space. I hope you know how many lives you've changed. I'm sure they reach out all the time and tell you. So you changed my life too, man. You guys changed my life as well. So I wanted to just give you your flowers, man, and tell you I appreciate you guys, and keep going, man. Like I said, appreciate you coming on, dropping knowledge to the cool kids, and I think that'll wrap it up. Any last words before we get out of here?
Shit, man. I would say that you know, in previous markets when it looked like this, you know, your boy FG walked away. You know, it's like I have my own issues to tackle, but I'm at a point in my life now where I'm strong internally. I'm here to stay through bear market or bull market, and I'm going to keep providing truth to the Market Cipher community. I don't care how big I get on social media. The people that I have my people already in my little lifeboat or whatever you call it. And so, man, we're rowing the boats, and we're going to get where we need to go, regardless of the market going up and down, because we're traders, man. You know what I'm saying? And so that's, I'll leave you with that, man. So thank you.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, man. We'll talk to you in a minute.
All right. Bye-bye.